I think without a doubt, this team has been our best team here in Stage 4. What's on, guys? J-Hoy back with you today. Welcome back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. We are back here on, I think this is Fortress, playing some hardpoint, enjoying life. We are back here right before Major number 4, right? For the first tournament, I think, in a while that is going to be streamed on both YouTube and Twitch. We are very excited, especially given the outcome where I don't need to, which pod is it on? We don't need to put on our shirt anymore. We got a new jersey. Optic Texas absolutely took over Stage 4. And oh boy, am I excited to watch this tournament, because hopefully they transmit that to LAN, to the event. So, without further ado, let's get started with round number 1. Optic Texas versus Boston Breach. Optic just played Boston in the final match of Stage 4. They lost 3-1 against Optic. It's online. You know, Boston has been a decent team, you know, throughout the year. Made a couple of roster moves with the retirement of Methods, with Vivid out of the lineup, and now with Kremp in the lineup. I mean, this team just, I mean, they're 2-3, 8-12 map count. I mean, they lost the last two matchups, so not really doing too hot. Optic Texas on another level right now, right? 5-0 during Stage 4 qualifiers, 15-4 map count. They've been absolutely killing it. 15-3, I think I said 15-3. Hopefully I did. 15-3 map count, 83% map win rate this stage. That is incredible, right? Shotzi and Hook have been playing out of this world, and I feel like they're going to bring that here against Boston. I'm going to predict 3-0 sweep. You know, might be similar to their online match in 3-1, but we're definitely picking Optic Texas to move on. Our next matchup, the New York Subliners versus, am I reading this right? The Vegas Legion? The Vegas Legion, the team that has been awful ever since the CDL has been a thing. They made winner's bracket for the first time in their history. Yes, they did. Clayster and the boys finished in, I think it's 7th place. I could be wrong. It might be 7th place. Or it might, no, it would be 5th place? Where'd they finish? That's really in front of me. They finished in 5th place. Sorry. 5th place. Finished the Vegas Legion. New York in 4th place. But of course, New York has been kind of like quietly good all year. And you wouldn't really think of them to be good, but they are. And it's kind of really surprising. Both teams 4-1, similar map counts as well. For New York, 13-7, that's map win count. And Vegas, 13-9. So, you know, we have a pretty good solid set of teams. And let's see, who did they lose to this stage? So both teams, actually, no, they didn't play them. So New York lost to Optic in a 3-1 fashion, which, you know, given their recent form, not really a surprise. Vegas, on the other hand, they lost to London, which was weird because they're 1-4. So that's real. Wow, that is really surprising with that result. It was in a game 4. You know, I would have definitely predicted Vegas to win that one. I'm really surprised they didn't. So I would love to, you know, rewatch that and kind of figure out why they didn't win that. But either way, two really solid teams, 4-1 overall. We put New York to win this one. You know, Vegas, you know, we spoiler alert, we do have them making a little bit of a run. And I feel like with more reps, more time with this team definitely, I think, could compete with, you know, arguably like the top 6, definitely top 8 teams. Right? I think they're going to put up a good performance. We'll go game 5. New York, though, they'll move on to face against Optic. Next matchup, LA Thieves versus the Minnesota Rocker. We're predicting this one, honestly, 3-0 sweep. Move on. You know, Rocker, they did a little bit better this series, or this stage. 2-3, 9-10 map count. They lost the last 3 games, or the 3 matches, I should say. But LA Thieves, I mean, they went 4-1, getting right up there with Optic's record. Not necessarily quite there, but 4-1 overall, 13-5 map count. And, I mean, they've just been solid all year long. Like, just plain and simple, they've been a good team. So I think they're going to make it easy versus Rocker, but Thieves are going to move on. This matchup always seems to be a bit of a banger. Seattle Surge versus Atlanta FaZe. So Surge finished 4-1. FaZe finished 3-2. And I don't remember, I think it was Octane from the LA Thieves said it, where everyone freaks out about Atlanta FaZe's online performance, where they go 3-2, get like 3rd through like 6th place online, and then they come into the LAN environment and just destroy everybody. However, I do think that could be a good point, is you also still gotta perform online too. Like, you can't just like have one way where you're really good and one way where you're just average. But then again, it's also online Call of Duty, so you can definitely see it that way. But both teams, I mean, it's solid as heck. I mean, a 3 versus 6 seed, but I feel like, again, I don't feel like this is a true placement from FaZe. They're a lot better than what they showed. You know, looking at this record, 11-11 map count, they're better than that. We know that. They have a world champion studded lineup there all throughout with everyone. So I picked FaZe. It's hard not to pick FaZe, especially since they got simp, abezy, cellium, and now Slasher on that team. It's hard to bet against them, but you also have to look at the other side. You got Pred and Sib over there, and obviously they're always in contention for the upset potential. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good matchup. Again, it's a little bit of a spoiler alert. We're gonna have Surge making a run as well. So, not that I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk, but I do feel like Atlanta will have this victory, moving them on to round 2. Let's go down to the elimination bracket. We got to catch up with 2 sets of matches here. First matchup, so now we have the guys that dropped down from the winners bracket. We have the Boston Breach versus the Toronto Ultra. And again, Boston has been okay. Toronto, I don't know what happened to them online, but they finished 1-4 after winning our last major. So they end up facing off against Atlanta FaZe, the Boston Breach. They beat the Florida Mutineers. They lose versus Vegas, and then they lose to Seattle. So they did have kind of like a, I don't want to say a hard, you know, set of matches, but Seattle, tough matchup. Vegas, with how they've been playing recently, they could definitely put up a pretty good matchup. Boston can always be up there. FaZe is obviously a really good team. And then you have a win versus Florida, who went 0-5, 4-15 map count, and are on a 5 match losing streak at least. So the win doesn't say much. It's more about the losses for me. All at least, actually, one in game 4 lost, and then all 3 of the other ones game 5. So they're playing close, but they just couldn't finish it out. But I feel like when they come to LAN, it's going to be a different story, honestly. And it's not the same as FaZe, but Toronto, we know how good they are. Like we said, they won the last major. They're a good team for a reason. I feel like they're going to beat Boston here, move on to the second round. Our next matchup, the Vegas Legion versus the Florida Mutineers. I don't know why I said it like that, but this one, Vegas, we got them winning in this one. You know, Florida just doesn't have it right now. Like, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they got a bunch of leftovers. They got, what's his name? Havoc out of the lineup. He's took a step back. Vickle back in there. You know, I don't know what Florida's doing, what they want to do, but they're not doing enough to grant them wins right now. So, Vegas, I'm going to predict 3-0, move them on to the second round. Next matchup, Minnesota Rocker versus London Royal Ravens. I mean, you take a coin, toss it up, make a prediction. I don't think it really matters. We picked Rocker in this one. Is it a strong pick? I don't think so. You know, London, they're kind of one of those teams that are still trying to figure it out. I mean, 5-13 map count for them, 1-4 on the stage. not really anything crazy going on. I mean, they beat Vegas, but other than that, I mean, they're just kind of there. So, like I said, it's a toss-up. Either team could win, but we went with Rocker just because they're a little bit ahead in the standings, and that was literally all my thought process in there, because after this next round, neither of those teams are going to be in the tournament anyway. With our next matchup, Seattle Surge versus the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Well, similar to Florida, Los Angeles Guerrillas just doesn't have it right now. I don't know, again, what these guys are doing. Sometimes they look pretty decent. Sometimes they look awful. And now we're stuck with arcitys there, who wants to build a team, but then has a bunch of schmucks around him. Is that even a word? Is schmuck a word? A bunch of just randoms around him, and he's trying to do the best he can. So, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, obviously, going towards champs time, got to do something, right? You got to win. You got to figure something out. Make a roster change. Do something. Try to, well, I guess they don't have their academy team anymore, but they got Spart on the bench, I believe, still. Or is it someone else? Diamond Con? I don't remember who their substitute is. But they have a substitute on the bench, so maybe they could try him out, see if that helps at all. You know, trial him in scrims, do something different, because 0-5, 4-15 map count, 5 match losing streak at least. Yeah, if you're like this the rest of the year, I mean, you're just not looking good, plain and simple. Seattle though, on another, I mean, not on another level, but 4-1, 13-6 map count, one of our best teams in the league. I feel like it's gonna be a cakewalk, 3-0 fashion. Seattle moves on. Like, plain and simple. But down to our final 8 teams. Or, no, 8 teams? 10 teams? I don't even know. Next matchup of losers bracket, we got Toronto Ultra versus Vegas Legion. And this one, I'm going to call it an upset. And although we do feel like Toronto is going to change their tune once it comes to the LAN environment, to in-person action, Vegas has also been a really good team recently. Ever since the roster change of picking up Standy, TJ Haley, Temp, and Clayster, they've been looking good, right? And I can't believe I'm saying that, but they have been looking good. So Vegas, I have to move on and defeat the Major 3 champs in the Ultra to move them on to round 3. Next matchup, Rocker versus Surge. Again, similar to the last matchup, maybe not nearly as easy, but we're going Seattle with the win, 100%. 3-0 is the first thing that comes to my mind. Maybe 3-1, maybe Minnesota steals away, you know, one game mode. But for the most part, I just don't feel like they're going to do that well. Our next matchup, we got to jump back up to the winners side, where we got to eliminate a couple more teams. We have Optic Texas versus the New York Subliners. And although the Subliners 4-1, they have a good map count. They've been playing good. They've been quietly good, if you will. Optic Texas have been on a different level. We talked about this before, you know, with Shotzi and Hook. They have been doing unspeakable things to teams. Like, they have been dominating, right? When Dashy doesn't look like a superstar and he's more of a role player, he's been looking like he hasn't been popping off crazy numbers, right? And that's crazy to me. It's like having 3 superstars on that team and then Ghosty, and you're doing this, and then just letting your subs do whatever they want. You're doing something right. But we're predicting this one. We'll go 3-1 Optic Texas to move on to the winners finals. Subliners drop down. Next matchup, LA Thieves versus Atlanta FaZe. And what should be an absolute banger of a matchup, we're predicting FaZe to win this one in the game 5. Thieves, though, on the other hand, they got a chance for redemption down in the elimination bracket, facing off against the Vegas Legion. And even though we've been high on the Legion recently with this new team, this is where their run stops. LA Thieves are a world champion team, and I feel like they're going to show it here versus the Legion. We're going to go game 4, could be game 5. Thieves move on to round 4 of the elimination bracket. Vegas, come back next time. I think you're going to be stronger for sure. Next matchup, we got Subliners versus Surge. You know, I don't know what it is, but Surge always feels like they are the better team when you have a superstar in Pred. Like, New York has been quietly good, but Surge has been more, like, more in the spotlight of being good. Does that even make sense? Probably not. But Surge, I have moving on to round 4. So now we're down to our final 4 teams. We got Optic, Texas, and Atlanta FaZe in the winner's bracket final, along with the LA Thieves and Seattle Surge in round 4. This, though, is where Seattle will fall. Down in round 4 of the elimination bracket, Thieves move on. For no other, reason other than it's kind of a coin flip. Both really solid teams. Both in our top 3 teams. I feel like these, 5 teams, if you will, in Optic, LA Thieves, Seattle Surge, New York Subliners, and Atlanta FaZe, not necessarily in that order, but those 5 teams are our top 5 teams right now. And even if you want to throw Toronto Ultra in there, obviously I forgot about them for a second, but throw them in there, that's kind of top 6, right? With a couple of bubble teams there with like your Vegas, your Minnesota, your Boston. But other than that, I feel like we have a clear-cut like top 6, then like the top 2 of, or not even top 2, but like your 7th, 8th, 9th teams are kind of like your bubble teams. And then you have like your bottom 3. And I feel like it's really kind of clear cut at this time. Like it really truly is. But LA Thieves move on to elimination bracket final, awaiting the winner, or the loser I should say, of our next matchup. We already know where we're going. Optic, Texas are walking away with the victory here in the winners finals. Moving on to the grand finals, awaiting the winner of FaZe versus Thieves. And I don't know what it is. We literally did a coin flip before I made my predictions of who was going to be in the final, FaZe or Thieves. And this one went to the Thieves. Don't know why. Don't have a good reason. It was literally a coin flip. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Optic, Texas. The guys behind me. There it is. Although that's the Optic Gaming jersey. I realized that the other day. Optic Gaming. Optic, Texas. It's fine. Optic gonna win this one. I think it's a best of 7. We'll go 4-2. Optic wins this one. It's their time. They've been looking unreal, right? 5-0 on the series, on the stage. 15-3 map count. That's insane, right? Who did they even lose maps to? Let me just quick look at that. So they lost 1 map versus Boston, 1 versus LA Thieves, and 1 versus New York. Like, that is absolutely incredible. They've been on another level. But that's my predictions. I'm sticking to it. You can see them on your screen now. That is my final predictions. How true will they be? I don't know. Probably not. Usually my predictions are absolutely terrible. But either way, that's going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. If you haven't yet, or if you're brand new here, make sure to subscribe. Turn those post notifications on so you never miss an upload. And don't forget, you can always change your mind later. With all that being said, guys, we'll see you in the next one.